Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. Solana has actually done what we discussed in my last video. We wanted the price to come down lower in wave C of 4. And I also gave you a key target for that wave C, and that was reached. So if you watched the last video, you were prepared for this. And now, basically, I'm still watching for wave 4, yeah, to be possibly completed in this box. The support area has, if you use this already for scalping, it has generated at least 3 profitable trades. Yeah, but again, if you trade these smaller time frames, just always be on the side of caution. Nevertheless, we have a nice ABC structure, and at the moment, as long as the $21.60 level is holding, I'm going to look at higher. The next reliable setup will unfold after these 5 waves have formed. Then an ABC pullback should form, and then this will be a reliable setup, a so-called 1-2 setup, which is what most Elliott wave traders are looking for to trade a third wave to the upside. And what we normally want to see is that the C wave reaches the 1.618 extension or the 1-to-1 ratio, so the 100% extension of the A wave. And that is exactly the level I gave you in the last video, $22.90, I think I mentioned here, the 1-to-1 ratio. It can, depending on how accurate I draw it, there are a few cents difference. But important is to understand that wave 4s oftentimes unfold as sideways structures, the so-called sideways correction, especially if the wave 2 was a sharp correction, which we class here. This is what we class as a sharp correction, because we have an A wave that came down, a B wave, and a C wave, each going, you see that? Yeah, it's quite sharp, it goes lower. Whereas what we have up here, and you see the difference visually, looks more like a sideways correction, where the B wave is much higher than it was here. So A, B wave, in a sharp correction, the B wave is often weak. Let's see. Whereas here we had the A wave, the B wave was very strong, giving it overall a sideways appearance. A lot of people got bullish here already. Then a C wave, which doesn't really go much below the A wave. So at the moment, this looks like a textbook structure. Shows you very nicely and very impressively the guideline of alternation. In Elliott wave, very important, which indicates that the wave 2 is often a sharp correction, a so-called zigzag correction. And the wave 4 is often either a triangle, which can still form. I mean, this could still become some kind of a triangle. I just don't have any evidence for it. Or it's a flat correction. And these flat corrections, especially if the B wave sort of just ends just below the beginning of the A wave, which is up here, then this is typically a regular flat, which means that the C wave ends very close to the A wave low. A little bit of education here. So it's just that rule of alternation that when you have wave 2 as a sharp correction, watch for a sideways correction in wave 4. But all of that is just a guideline. And if the wave 4 comes down a little lower, I'm not too worried until the price breaks below $21.65. That would certainly break the impulsive potential of this chart. It would then not be able to form an impulse anymore. It could still work as a diagonal. That's, as always, a less reliable pattern. So yeah, this is support I'm tracking. If this support holds, I'm watching for the next target to be reached at $25.50. If it goes a little higher, then the next target would be around about $27.30. Essentially, what we're watching for as well is the potential development of an inverse head and shoulders pattern here that could break to the upside to take the price next to around about $35, $40 maybe. Yeah, why is that? Well, again, a potential breakout pattern, inverse head and shoulders. I don't normally use these patterns because Elliott wave gives us a much better view of context. But we have here a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern. And we've got the same potentially in large, where the right shoulder could be forming now, with this wave 2, basically. I don't think the wave 4 could be the right shoulder, yes. But the wave 2 ideally is. So basically going a little higher, touching the neckline there. Neckline or horizontal resistance of this inverse head and shoulders pattern is at $25.50. And yeah, it should form that pullback then afterwards, ideally. And if it holds a support, if it holds a higher low, then the rally could take us higher. So if we talk about this inverse head and shoulders and potential targets, then what we can do already is to take the height of that head. We take it to the potential breakout point. That takes us here to around about $34, which is the same way how we measured the target for this move. and it was also in line with Fibonacci extensions. So that's good confluence. Same way we can do it now. If we say, okay, let's assume it forms 5 waves up to the neckline. It comes back to, and that's a bit of an assumption now, but let's assume it comes back to around about $21. Then the target that I'm watching, for this third wave is going to be roughly in this area here, $33 to $34. So in terms of Fibonacci extensions, so that is a very, very good overlap and confluence with the, let's say, the more traditional pattern, okay? Yeah, and that's all. I mean, Solana is really working well, and there's a reason why I called out Solana as, let's say, higher potential, for example, for a move up than other coins, because we saw it in the structure. We had here a potential wave 1 into the February highs, a wave 2 to the downside, then an A-B pattern, and it can still fail. But so far, this trend reversal area that we had on the chart for many months has worked out. The price reversed where it needed to. And for example, other charts didn't show that structure. Like ADA, for example, made a lower low. And that just doesn't generate that sentiment that's needed for this sort of setup. There is no setup, for example, on the ADA chart that would really allow for this rally. I mean, anything is possible, but we always talk in probabilities language, right? So everything I say anyway, you need to understand as probabilities in terms of, even if I say will, something will happen, which I never do, or at least I try to avoid it. But then it is based on probabilities. You just need to understand that when you're entering this this channel. But anyway, there are many charts that made lower lows in June. So these setups, or these charts now all basically indicate and show weakness, because they haven't had that 1-2 setup on the chart that Solana actually has, and that allowed us to make a more bullish projection. All I could do down here was to indicate that this is a reversal area and that we see this inverse head and shoulders, and only when it breaks out we can get that $24 target reached, which happened now. So I'm watching that further. It's interesting. So I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And if you're interested in the channel membership, every Sunday we do a live stream. We cover some member requests, coin requests, and there's always an educational topic as well. You get access to educational content on Discord and Telegram, the chat rooms, and as a gold member, short-term additional market updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.